What's going on, guys? PKM Adam here, with Jeremy, and we're reviewing or analyzing TDT without Undead and the
The
post
greatest
auction
tour of all time.
greatest toy of all time.
I'll be
PK
dead
back
surprised
there.
if the first one died, honestly.
I mean, Brad already left. I think he was scared about for me though. It's okay. um, so I guess we'll just start it. We're gonna start with Litton Gang, and
So we have Lux as their first player, and
well,
he's only for 6.5. I don't know Lux,
I know
but
he's
I've
decent.
heard that he's like pretty decent.
I could say that they actually drafted Granville for 10K, and we, Snow Points and Overs drafted Lux for 6.5K in the later rounds, and then we traded Granville, well, Lux for Granville, so we can have one of the boys on the team. But yeah, I guess they got a decent player for really good value at Lux, and then I guess we can move on to Mr. Harvard himself, Arctic Weavile, for 16.5K. Um, I know he did really good in TDT season 2, and then he did fine in TDT season 3. I don't really rate him that well, but
I heard he did pretty well in Clash of Kings. I think like the first season, which is also pretty good. I think a lot of people say that he's like underrated, but his price doesn't say so. So
I I think yeah, his price doesn't say so definitely here. I think he's definitely an average player with maybe potentially a lot of upside for his team, and it seems like with the rest of his team, he's probably going to be the go-to, like, you need to win here and get us our wins every week. So I don't know if he'll be able to do that, but I guess 16.5 might be a bit of a little stretch, but it seems like a decent price here. And then we're moving on to Love at 17K. Um, I know that we were actually looking to get Love on the team, but we stopped because we thought 17K was too much. I don't know if you think that's too much. Personally, I do think that's too much, but
I've not seen Love in action. The only thing I know of him is like that he did pretty badly in TDT, but he was on I think AP, so that is
oh, that's true. He like didn't play half the time. Oh, Gammon,
yeah, that's true
Gammon.
too. I don't know much about him, but I've heard some stuff about him, and I heard he was pretty decent. And again, his price says that people rate him, so
From what I know, he's actually really good at prep. And, like he understands the game. It's just like his inability and inactiveness, which like really makes his, I guess, gameplay not that well, or just
yeah,
his
I
ability
guess.
to play.
I mean, if you're good at the game or not good at the game, if you know a lot about the game and like have a lot of prep, you can be like a little bit like Moran
Mm-hmm.
in TDT or not TDT TPL because Moran knows a lot about the game and is really good at building, but
His
you
inact.
just need to be active and help your team. If
Yeah.
you can do that, then the price is definitely worth it.
And I guess like the good thing about this is that we're in quarantine right now, so I think he'll be more active than
Well, he
usual.
doesn't have anything to do.
Yeah, unless he's an essential worker. But
Yeah.
yeah. All right, let's move on to Robert Panda or Robert Punda of 5K. I mean, like 5K,
It's
like that's
5K.
it was there.
He isn't like horrible, you know. He's
He
not.
he's not average either though, so 5K is really good. I think
I mean, yeah, but he's really active as well, and he's like, I wouldn't say he's like,
he's a good
he's
team
active.
supporter.
He's a chat presence, right? He can
Yeah,
like start conversations.
he's a good team supporter. So as a team player, he's great, and I'm assuming that he's willing to mock and he's willing to help his team. So that's I think it's actually a decent 5K. Now we move on to
Yeah.
Rise of Darkrai. I actually really rate the Rise of Darkrai, or just Rise of Darkrai in its own.
Yeah.
For so 15.5K is also a good pick. I heard that people call him like really good and like how he's so underrated. I don't think he's underrated. I think he's rated enough. I think this shows his price right here. He plays multiple tiers. He has the ability to just hop into any tier and just win or play well. And from what I've seen
He's
from his
also
prep,
pretty decent. Little Cup, right?
yeah, he played some LC I think, and like that's what I mean. He can play any tier. Obviously, there's no LC here, but if I'm assuming if he had to play Auras or something, he would play well. It seems like he has a good understanding in the game, which is
Yeah, that's
really
crazy.
rated.
Yeah. I mean, that is also really good value to have, especially when you have like multiple tiers and gens. You
Hmm.
can if you have like a lot of understanding about the game, you don't really care about like differences in metas and stuff like that, which is really valuable in this, I'd say.
Okay, so we're gonna move on to Wolverine. I think actually,
This is super weird because Rise of Darkrai and Wolverine both did really well in TDT for their teams. And I've watched both of their games twice because I've played them back to back,
hmm
and I don't see why there's a big difference in price, especially for Wolverine.
I think I think Rise of Darkrai is definitely better than Wolverine. I think he's also more known outside of TDT, and
Yeah, but
Wolverine's first like come up was TDT season 3, so Rise of Darkrai has more like name or like brand
yeah,
to
I
him.
guess. Yeah,
But like a
it's
6K
more so like
Wolverine is a really good price for it.
yeah, it's more so like that the difference is that big, especially with like I think Wolverine, because like we were trying to like get other people to draft someone because we had a wheel
Yeah.
um for the noms, and then we were kind of stuck like who do we nom, right? Because we don't want to be stuck with someone that we don't want. But I was like, okay, just nom Wolverine. People will upbid him, and then the only upbid that happened was like 6K, and I was like, what? Why?
Wow.
Like he isn't 6K. He's probably a little bit more than 6K
I
at least.
I think 8 to 10K would have been great for him. Um,
Yeah,
I still
or like
believe
maybe a little bit more, you know?
that could be pushing it, but yeah, I do think when we played him in the finals, I think he did play well. He's not definitely not like a shitter, but he definitely needs to still show himself as a good player and someone who's worth more than 10K. And then we're gonna move on to bulk up Mike. I love Mike.
Mike's
Um,
a great guy. I love Mike. He's so cool.
I think he's gonna be their ORS player, or I think maybe Love plays ORS. I don't even know, but
He did pretty well in TDT, but sometimes like when he played Brat, he kind of showed his weaknesses.
and when he played me in Gamin as well, or Gamin, sorry, excuse my French, but me and when Mike played me, I was on the verge of 6-0ing him, and then I missed Dragon Tail, and then I choked, and it was a whole thing. And then when Gaiman was playing him in finals, he literally choked the whole game, and then basically was supposed to win before Mike Dark Pulse flinched him for 7 times in a row or something like that. So he definitely proved himself throughout the season that he's a decent player, and he's also a great chat presence and a great team player. So I do think 9.5K was the right price for him, but I think he has still a lot to do to improve himself as a player, if that makes sense.
Yeah, he had a lot of help from like Tristan as well.
Uh,
I don't know if that's gonna affect him because I know Tristan a lot of the time just said like, I gotta help Mike for like his game.
yeah,
Um, but we'll see. I think he can
I think he could do
either
something.
like he's gonna be either like someone who pulls up and just shows everybody that he's like not to be underestimated,
Yeah.
but it can go both ways, I think.
Okay, so we're gonna move on to captains of Litton Gang to round it off. We have Chatter and Hacker, probably the worst captain core to be honest, out of skill.
Mm,
I
I don't
mean,
know. There are two other cap cores that could be,
possibly, but
I'd say.
one of the lower tier cap cores. I don't think they'll be playing that much. I think they'll.
No.
I think their starting lineup will be Arctic Weavile, Love, Rise of Darkrai, Mike. What's that for? And Lux
Yeah, and
and
five could
Wolverine
be Wolverine,
or Lux.
Lux. I
So,
don't know who Lux is though.
um, yeah, I think they have good team presence, and they're probably gonna be there to force their team to mock and actually try hard since they're the ones actually running the league. So they're gonna put a lot of effort into this. So I do think that they won't be one of the last teams. I think they actually might be mid team. But
Yeah, they could be. So when I looked at them, I was like, they could be maybe like dark horse kind of like 6 to 4,
possibly, it
like
depends.
depending on how they pull up.
It
You know?
depends on how also the rest of like will the rest of the teams actually try in this league and.
Yeah, because some teams could be looked at better than that they actually are, or
Mhm. All right, so
yeah.
let's move on to pretty princesses. And their first rounder or their first pick was Bronson at 21K, and I also think this is a really good, still a really good like pickup for his price. Um, I mean, there's not much to say as Bronson. I think this is
Yeah, I think
an automatic
Bronson's
W.
pretty good. He got picked up for like less than 10K each season in DPL. I'm pretty sure he did pretty well in DPL for all of the seasons, or at least in season one. I'm pretty sure he did really well.
Mhm.
And I don't know. I think Bronze is also a really good guy,
Yeah, he seems
but
like a nice
he can
guy.
also have like a big personality sometimes. I think maybe, but he's a pretty good guy. You can have a laugh with him if you get to know him a bit.
I don't know how his team presence will be with like prep helping and mocking and just
Yeah, same. I don't know him that much.
so, but with a best of five, a guaranteed win once a week is really good still.
Yeah,
So,
Bronson is still someone who you don't want to like underestimate because
mhm.
he can definitely just murder you in game.
All right, so we're gonna move on to Suki, who I have no clue who he
Neither,
is or
yeah.
who she is,
Okay.
and she's only went for 5K. So,
They only went for 5K, so it does, and probably like if KMJ picked them up, then yeah,
I'm gonna just continue this. So what I'm assuming here is that they're probably one of those anime people. So I mean, it'd be pretty nice to just move past, I guess. So I guess we can just move on to Devin. So Devin went for 10K. I don't really rate Devin, but Devin's a really nice guy. He's pretty good. Pretty
yeah.
good.
Devin. Okay, so Devin is a good guy. Like every single time that he like didn't play well or didn't like
Mhm.
do his best in a week, he would be like, "Oh yeah, sorry," and "We'll do better," and stuff like that. So he really wants to
He just
do well.
he does want to play well and he does try.
Yeah.
It's just and he does have prep like help like team presence, but I do not
Wait,
think he's
okay,
that
so
great.
I teamed up with Devin because I really liked Devin before like the auction of TDT, and that made me really like want him on my team. And Devin had a pretty big personality. He wasn't like super active in chat, but when he was, you could definitely notice that he was there.
Mhm.
And he isn't bad at prepping. Like for someone who comes off of Smogon, he isn't like bad at all at prepping. I'd say like there are obviously like flaws in his prep, but I don't think it's bad for someone who's just coming off of Smogon and stuff like that.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna move on to Kyle, who I also have no clue. Do you have any clue who he is?
Cal, yeah, I also teamed up with Cal for a little bit for like the first 3 weeks of the season because we traded him for
Mhm.
Dougal. Good, big up Dougal. That trade was amazing. Anyways, Kyle is a really great guy. I love Kyle. He's a really good guy and he's really active. His prep can be improved upon and his play too, but I don't think he's like for 5K. I think it's like decent. You know, I
Yeah,
don't think it's bad at all. You can't go wrong with that.
I have to take your word.
If I go back on like the Suki person, they they only went for 5K, right? It's the min bid, so it
Yeah,
doesn't really matter. You can't really go wrong with it. I think if
I
you go
I
for
agree
5K.
with you completely. Let's move on to their other 5K, who I do not know how to pronounce. I have actually heard of him, but I have not seen him play or just anything, so I have no substance of him as well. So
Yeah, neither. But again, they only went for 5K, and they probably are a friend,
yeah,
or the captains know
who
what
just
they're
pinged me?
capable of. So
Yeah. All right, let's move on to ReggieTube for 21K. I don't think this is. I don't think he's worth 21K. So I'm sorry. I don't know, but
I don't think he's worth 21K, but they had a lot of budget left. They had like 17K left
yeah.
after their last pick, so they could spend like big bucks on like the last two.
But look, they still have 17K left. So this is where I'm like. This is what I'm saying. If you have 21K to spend on an average player, and then you have 17K left, and yet you only have probably one guaranteed win throughout your team, wouldn't you want to go get spend more on like other players that you could have actually challenged? Like, there's a lot of players that you could see. that we're gonna look at that went so undervalued where you could have upbidded at least
Mm-hmm.
for maybe
Like
a
for example,
chance.
Wolverine could have been upbid by.
Yeah, so I mean, it just depends on how well do they know the people in the server and how much do they actually just want to have a team of players they know or a team that like consensusly has the skill to
Has already
win.
put up results.
Yeah. Let's move on to Rich. I have also no clue, but he went for 16K. I don't know if that's a choke or not. So, do you know?
No, but he went for 16K, so his name probably has something to do with it. I don't know.
Does anyone in chat know? Sengoku.
Zengoku. Okay,
Sengoku.
that is a way to say a name.
Does anyone know who Rich is? I'm assuming not. Let me look if general went for it 5K for a reason. Let's just move on to cap.
Okay, okay.
Let's move on to captain cores. We have KMJ. I have no clue what his skill level is, but he's pretty much around.
KMJ. I don't know how good he is personally. I've
Give
been
me a
on a
second.
team with him in DPL season 1, but that's a long time ago. That's like a
Yeah,
year ago. So I can't really say for now.
but he got into DPL, so that must say something. So
He got picked up on in mids at DPL season 1 and then DPL season 3 as well.
yeah, but that still says
I don't
something as
think
a
he's
player.
played a game in season 3,
Mhm.
but he played 2 in season 1. And I remember in one of them, he got like hacks. Like he was playing pretty well, and then he just got hacks, and that lost him the game, which was really unfortunate. I don't
Uh,
think he's like, I don't think he's bad,
he
but
said he
he's not
didn't
like
play
awesome
season
where
three.
you know he's a free win.
I'm gonna say, Chatter. Do you mind if we let Chatter in?
Mm,
I mean,
I don't mind if you don't care.
Chatter, if you wanna hop in, you can hop in. But we're gonna move to Geis J. I don't even know how to say his name, bro. Like Geese. I
Yo, what's up?
I don't think he's that great of a player, but he has some good chat presence and a meme. So, and he's a nice guy. So, um, I think overall this team is pretty much a stinker. I'm sorry, but um, you
These
have
are like fun people though. Like
they
I'm not
do.
gonna lie.
You have Bronson, and maybe I'm wrong because I don't know who Rich is, and maybe Reggie too can, instead of being average, be good. And same thing with Devin; he has the potential to be good, but
I know Reggie doesn't have like a lot of confidence, but I think that if he like can get some confidence in, then he could maybe be better than what he's showing right now.
and if KMJ can prove that he or she can be
Lead.
a DPL player,
Yeah,
then
that.
that's a two free wins for their own team, and that goes
Yeah,
a long way. So,
yeah. If he can
um,
pull up in like um the battle and like help your team,
mhm.
then you're already pretty good.
So let's move
You're
on.
doing something.
Let's move on to Snow Points and Over. My team. Um,
All right, I'm gonna
you can lead this for
one
the most
thing
part.
before you start on this. For my team, when we get to them, I'm not gonna like hold anything back.
Yeah,
I hope you do the same.
I won't hold anything back. I'll be honest on myself.
Yeah.
Um, so let's move on to Marvin at 10K. I think let's
Price is
actually
pretty
assume
safe.
that let's assume his price first because he went for 10K, and obviously we all know he's not a 10K player, especially in this league.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
since everyone thought at least that he was only going to play 3 weeks and maybe come back from playoffs, then 10K seems pretty well. But I would still have one for 20K for
I would have put him at 15, even
15 at
min.
least, and then.
Yeah.
But then now we know that Marvin Varvin is willing to stick around the whole
Yeah.
season, so
The thing
it's,
is, Moran, like his prep is so good. Like he that man can prep, dude.
yeah. I mean, his chat presence already in the server seems pretty cool. He seems like
Yeah, he's also really active. Like we can't like Moran's like a really active presence with like a lot of build support, and he's not like bad at battling, especially for 10K. You're like
then he won DPL
already like
twice.
shooting low.
He won DPL twice, and then
Got to
he
finals the last time.
got the finals for the third season. So he was in the finals every 3 years. The guy is a great player, and I'm actually excited to play with him. And
Yeah, I don't think you can like say anything wrong about Maran for 10k,
Other
except
than
for
like,
why did other people not upbid him?
yeah,
That
other
was the
than
only
why.
thing.
And his, I guess maybe he might be prone to grill his own team, as we saw in DPO finals. So, which I'm actually excited about that. I think we have the two toxic players in the top two toxic players in the league with me and Marvin. So, we're gonna move on to me. 20.5k. I'm looking at everybody else's price, and I'm like, maybe that's a bit too much, but honestly, for an ORAS player, and when Zeph and Gammon were probably building this, like, making their list of players who they want, they had me in ORAS, and they didn't expect to get all these steals. So to have like a guaranteed, probably one of like W's every week at ORAS, I think 20k was well for me. Um,
Yeah, I think you for 21. I'm gonna round up. It's like solid. I think there's no real issue with it because like there's no reason that because you also can play like Ultra Sun and Moon. I don't know if you can play Gen 8 that well
I
because I
can.
don't know if you have experience.
I played Gen 8 with my friends in like passive
Yeah,
leagues
I mean
with Ziff
it's
and
the same thing. I think
everybody.
the game if you can play the game in Gen 6 and 7, you can play the game in
Yeah,
Gen 8 as well.
and
Doesn't
I
really matter.
and I only picked up Gen 6 for TDT because we didn't really have a Gen 6 player, and I was
Yeah,
like, oh look, I'm the ORAS goat, and then
yeah. See what I mean?
went 7-2 in ORAS. So I think it's really I think I have the skill. It just depends on how much I'm willing to put in my own prep and mock. And there's a funny thing where I say this matchup is unbeatable and I'm gonna lose, and then I mock like 10 times and then I 6-0 somebody. So um, I do want to like say that my end game is pretty shit. So my early game's probably really good, and then I'll pretty much choke in end game for the most part. But
Hey, that's good. I'll remember that.
yeah, you can remember that.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah, and I'm just gonna say for a second here, me and Hacker were definitely considering picking you up, but I just don't think we were quite willing to spend 21k on you because there's just plenty of Oras players around. I think.
yeah, there
I
was.
think that
Because you had a 24k left, right?
yeah, we had 24k left at the end,
Hey, you
and
could have spent
we were able to
24k
get
for me.
SSG bulk up for very cheap, so I
That's
think we were fine on the Oras.
yeah, you're fine on Oraz obviously, but I do think now that Brett left, I think Oraz players. I don't know, man. I mean,
You're
Evan's
probably
definitely a good
top
Evan.
five at least for RS players.
Well, I definitely
Yeah,
with Brett, I was definitely top five. I don't maybe not number one, but
Actually, I don't know because I don't know large wins, but
anyways,
yeah,
let's move on to Professor Chipboard. 30k. Obviously, that seems like a bit of an
bargain.
excess, a bargain, a bit of an excess, but he was the guy that they wanted the whole time. And to be honest, if you have a guy who was already in your server as well as I was, but if you have a guy who's already in your server and who you are really good friends with and who's willing to prep and play for your team, then spending 30k with still 8.5 left in the budget was pretty much worth. So and he's a DPL
Yeah.
player, so
Yeah. Chipboard also just came off with a DPL chip,
so
or at least he was in the finals as this went on.
yeah,
He won the finals after the auction actually, with Rin beating Narf.
goat.
Go go go! Ready go! LeBron James. Um, but he did really well there,
Yeah,
if I remember correctly, and they had a lot of decent money left, especially like with 10k Maran, like you have a lot of money left. Like you
yeah.
could just spend big on someone if you don't care. And you can just get like steals later because you only need 5 people. Everybody got 7 people by the way. Like literally every team got 7 people, even
And
though you only need 5.
and we got steals.
yeah.
We got steals.
You guys definitely got steals.
Oh, I forgot to mention. I think one of the biggest parts of like having me on your team is the probably knowing that if I'm on your team, if you make playoffs, you'll probably get some Zavactin prep. So I think that was also one of like the big plus sides if you draft me. So let's move on to Odin, who I actually don't know too much about, but from what I've heard is that he's some Brazilian god player who should have never went for 8k, and then I'm actually excited to see him play. And I know he plays. He's gonna play some Gen 8 and Gen 7 for us. So I'm excited to see him play. But do you guys have any comments?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know him, but Hacker knows him, and I don't think Hacker's too impressed with him. He told me not to upbid him, but
Really?
that's all.
Well, Hacker has
Yeah,
some unopinions, but I mean,
Hacker does have some
I
opinions.
mean, if he does not like play to his value at eight, I mean, you can't really not play to your value at 8K when 8K is still probably around a 5K, right? So
Yeah.
it's like kind of like a low risk, high reward situation, I guess. Will just DM me, but will I read your DMs? No, I won't. Kerry at 5K. I mean,
Yeah.
is there much to say?
Dude, when we say Wolverine should have gone for higher, dude, I don't give it. I don't give it, dude.
What are we saying? Kerry's like a 20K player? I don't.
I wouldn't go that far, but
15 to
yes, the ceiling.
15 to 20, I would say. I think you could push the 20.
Carrie is pretty active, and he's not dumb. He's not stupid. He's not bad at the game. Like, I don't get it. Why did he over? Because my team, I told them not to upbid them because I was like, like other people are gonna upbid him either way, right?
Yeah.
That was my thought process. Other people were gonna upbid him,
No
and
one.
like we were pretty set on like who we wanted,
Bro,
and then nobody just did, and I was like, what? What are you doing?
bro, we were in team voice call, right? And we were like, okay, I was like, guys, you have to nom Kerry now, cause like, I mean, if you nom him, then whatever. And we were assuming that he would go for like 15K or something. We were like, okay, well, we took someone's budget away, right? We nom him. And I was like, okay, well, if no one really upbids us, then 5K is a steal here. And we just watching down the clock, and Chatter's going 5, like the slowest countdown. And I'm like,
Dude, chatter when in the thing was like
4.
5, 4,
It
7. Like, and
was
then
so.
whenever it was like Chatter's thing, like when Chatter was like bidding, it was like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I tried my best. Okay.
No. So when we drafted Kerry for 5K, we all start like yelling and screaming. Kerry gets he gets sent the Discord
I
server
got so
right
pissed
away.
off. I was like, why did I tell them not to upbid? I should have told them to upbid.
Kerry joins the server, joins the call. All you see in chat is just tons of LMAOs just going everywhere. It's hilarious. Let's move on to Ramaxo.
This is
8K.
another underpay.
I think this is such an underpick. The man went 7-0 in TDT and helped us win the finals against Suck My Ween. I think he's a great
This is
player. Good chat
another
presence.
player I think is worth 20K probably in
Also,
this.
I don't think 20K. I think 15K is good. I also believe, like, if you also know, he has like his Spanish group. So it's
Oh
kind of
my
like my
gosh.
group with like the
Yeah.
clam group where I bring people
Yeah.
along and they'll help us mock. So Ramaxo might bring around
I
Tiki
played
or
I played
Raxo.
Ramoxa once for like a tour as well,
Hmm.
and like his prep was so whack, but it worked. It was like I had a Lando and he brought like max speed Arcanine with like HP ice, and I was like, what the fuck is this?
he
What do we do? He was like bad. I was like, what the fuck is this? I
he
was so thrown off, and he just beat me like that. I was
he
like,
brings
okay,
some
dude.
he brings some out of like the box prep, which sometimes does hurt him a lot. But
I mean,
with
the thing is, if you have Moran on your team and Kerrigan
yeah,
with that kind of prep, damn, you're gonna have a fun time looking at some builds.
like we're in Blazing Inferno server, right? And he's like, "Oh, let me bring this set," and Ziff and I are like, "No, like you need to bring this set." And I mean, if he's in a team tour with prep help, he will definitely do well to go positive. So I'm pretty glad that we got him for 8K. And I kept telling Zeph, I was like, make sure you get him. Let's move on to Alex for 10K. I still don't know how he's 10K. He's been negative for every team tour season. I love Alex, but like, and he says it himself that he knows he's not gonna play more than one game this whole season.
Dude, I remember fucking in TDT, basically, I mentioned it with Cal. We had Mustang for like 18K and like Cal for like 10,
Mm-hmm.
and then Cal was like 26 or whatever. And then we basically Justin, our Mustang, he was dead pretty much. He had
Yeah.
some RL issues and stuff, and couldn't play anymore. You know,
Yeah,
we kept him
unfortunate.
around instead of like dropping him because we thought like maybe we can trade him, like at mids, and otherwise we'll just drop him either way, or like maybe keep him for playoffs. And then we or Brat like found the trade with Dougal, and he was like, and they were like Cow and Mustang for Dougal. We
Hmm.
were like, yes, sure, sure. And they put it in the thing. I swear to God, I've never typed that fast. I was like, confirm right now. Yes, let's go. And then they realized Mustang was like dead, and then they traded Mustang, the dead Mustang, for just Granville. And I was like, what the fuck?
Bro, I
But it
love
didn't
Alex.
matter because Granville was like kind of dead as well. I think
I think
I played him once, but like he was pretty good. I don't know why.
he is a good player. He's a
Yeah,
definitely.
Granville's a good player. I just he hasn't done well in the TDT before now.
He says it
Um,
himself that he does better in 11 mods than 8 mods, and I can see that because I'm in tons of leagues where we're playing 11 mods and he'll win the league or get into the finals. And he's a really good player. He's smart. He knows how to prep, and I think since he's playing on Maya and Zeph teams, I think he's actually gonna try to help, which I'm excited for. So yeah, I mean, we can move on to cap cores now with Gaiman and Zeph.
oh, actually, one thing we should mention is that the Granville was actually traded because they actually nommed him really early in the draft, but then I was upbidding Granville and Zeph sort of stopped going for him, and I got him
Yeah.
for 10k, which I didn't expect.
Oh
And
yeah.
then we traded Granville for Lux after the auction.
Yeah, we mentioned that because we were going through and we were like, okay, we nommed Granville and we were like, we expected this, and we were like, we're not paying more than 10k for you, Alex. And he was in call and he was like, I wouldn't either. And you got the 10k. We were like, no, never mind. Let's move on to Gaiman and Zeph. I think this is one of the good cap cores. I don't know how much they'll actually play with the players that they got. Um, I think this is one of our issues where we don't have an actual like real starting five.
Yeah, a lot of the people in your team are like who can start and pull up, so it's
Yes.
kind of hard. Gamelin's definitely a good player. In TDT, was also really big on him. I was like, yeah, this guy's pretty good.
Yeah.
Um,
I still don't think
we got
26k
him
was
for
an
like a
overpay.
lot, yeah, like super high.
Yeah, we
So
got him for 26k.
26k.
We got him for.
yeah,
I just still don't think that's an overpay. Love the man. Great team presence, and he
yeah, I
wanted
like
to
Gavin.
win.
He's a cool guy, and like I think he's pretty good at the game. Like even when I looked at like tryouts, I was like, yeah, this guy's pretty good.
Yeah.
I just didn't expect him to go that high. So
Well, Zeph, GPL owner. I think he's a decent player. Um, he says it to himself. He thinks he's an average player. He's probably gonna play backup to Ores to me. And I don't know. I feel like he'll play more Ores games than I will because I don't know how much I'm willing to play much games.
Are you sure Zeph's not going to start himself? That seems very un-Zeph-like of him.
Yeah, he said that he wanted to start me instead, and I was like,
That's kind of weird.
well, I mean, it was kind of. I think it's kind of hard to be like, oh, I'm gonna start over PK, who's probably one of the best Ores players here, and we bought him for 20k. So I guess, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. All right, so we'll move on to Obstagoon Squad with Theo, 25k. Um, I don't know what
Theo the goat,
I,
Romani the goat, the
Theo
hottest
Dorman.
person around here.
Sexy
By the way,
beast, sexy beast. I think 25k was a good
yeah,
pickup.
Theo's a good player, and like now that he doesn't have DPO anymore, which he won by the way,
Yeah,
um,
goat.
he has more time to like actually do something in this and actually like try and have fun because
Hmm.
he really likes kind of DPL tournaments. He doesn't like 11 mon, but he really likes team tours and tournaments in general.
Yeah. Um, I don't know if he's gonna bring stall. If he does bring stall, I'm sorry, but like, I feel like people don't know how to prep against stall, and that's like what determines if you're a good prepper or not. Because if you understand how to prep against like HO or balanced or stall or weather, then you understand how to prep. So if people stall is one of the easiest things to draft around, or not draft around, draft against. If you understand how to draft, I mean not draft against, prep against. If you understand how to prep, but I think also what's a plus side about Theo is that he understands how to play the game, and most players who play stall don't understand. So I think that's the difference between him and all the other stall players. So it'll be interesting to see if players can actually exploit that or not, or he might not just bring stall. So
Yeah.
I think you make a pretty good, you know, kind of argument there because I think stall is really bad because of the reason that it's so easy to bring like a stall breaker like with
yeah.
taunt and like SD, for example, Gliscor.
Hmm.
If you have a Gliscor, I swear to God, any stall team loses.
If you have a freaking Hoopa Unbound, you just win. um, I actually, Ziff acted. Ziff loves to play against stall because he absolutely like loves to bring like just so creative sets where just like absolutely 6-0 stall. So yeah, that's how
I
I
don't know where the
understood how to play
stall
stall.
meme came from, but
I don't know.
For VO anyway.
Well, he's like top on like every ladder because he brings stall teams, from what I've heard.
Isn't that just how you play ladder? Just stall.
Well, I mean, if you want to sit there for like 3 hours getting 10 matches done.
That's why you run 5 matches at the same time. If you're playing stall, you don't have to use your brain. Like, what do you mean?
Let's move on to Evan. 27K.
Evan's good. I
Evan's
like
good.
Evan.
He's a
He's
good player.
active. He's smart. He can play the game. I think Evan's good for. I don't think 27k like good. It's like high.
When
But
I 6-0'd Evan, I actually thought he was gonna like get really mad and like be like "fuck you" and stuff, but he was such a chill guy. I love Evan for that.
yeah, like Evan looks like from face service, he looks like someone who's like kind of
Toxic.
gets mad really quickly, but he's really chill.
Yeah. I think I still think 27K might be pushing it, but I guess they got their ORAS player. I mean, I know Will plays ORAS. I actually don't know how that's gonna happen. Where Will's probably gonna want to play some games, and Evan's gonna probably want to play. Well, Evan should play most of the games, if not all. So
I don't think 27 is like bad for like the competition, but some people could have been a bit up higher if you
yeah,
didn't use like that 27k for like maybe a little less.
and they spent 27 and 25, right? And then
Yeah, I
19,
don't think he's bad though. I
and
think
they have
Evan's
five
bad,
left.
but 27 is just a lot of money to spend on a person. Like a 30k chip is also like a lot.
Yeah.
Like I jokingly said it was a bargain, but
Let's move on to Endless. I don't think 19K was worth it.
I
Don't.
don't get this dude. I don't get this guy, dude. He was like, yeah, like I free beat this shit in TDT, and like I'm the low tier god, and then
Yeah.
he played, and I was like, are you sure? Like,
To be fair, he wasn't playing low tier in season 3.
Yeah.
He's generally very, very good at low tier.
Yeah, but it's
But
so
low tier
easy
is
to
not in
play.
season 3.
27k
Pete,
is standard, but
Pete,
with that on, so I don't know.
I'm pretty sure
It's
Pete like
pretty easy.
destroyed him in low tier. Oh, I'm sorry. Like,
Oh, I'm sorry, I just roasted someone.
I mean, Pete and played him in off season and he like destroyed him in low tier, and Pete doesn't play low tier either. So I don't think these tiers aren't hard to pick up if you understand the game, and
Yeah.
that's the issue where he's playing in tier 3. But like, who's really good in playing in tier 3? Just average players, just players who.
I mean, I know some, but it's like they don't play in here.
Yeah. MSU. I don't know much about him. I actually feel like he.
One thing about Endless, great
Oh.
guy, love him. So he's a really chill guy.
Yeah, but he is a chill guy. Yeah. Shout out to Endless.
You gotta mention that. Like, when they're a good person, it's also
I still don't think 19K.
genuinely.
I think 10K would have been worth, but
Yeah.
hey, you got drafted and they wanted you, so 19K I guess
MSU?
is worth it then.
Is it MSU like a meme in Smogon?
I don't know. I have no clue who this person is, but
Yeah, he is a Smogon meme. He's a Smogon player for sure. I don't know that much about him though.
Bro.
I was like in a team with him from like Devin drafted me in it, or them. I don't know what gender they are. And at some point he just broke down. I was like, what the fuck? What happened? I didn't do anything in that. I didn't talk at all. I didn't do anything. I didn't play a game. But like, I looked at the chat like once and he like freaked out and he left the server. And I was like, aren't you like the captain? What are you?
Uh,
If he's from Smogon, he probably knows how to play the game
oh my!
decently.
I forgot to mention this. whenever Romaxo plays, you know how it's like he has his whole clan. Literally, he's playing, and you just have everybody in chat just talking in Spanish, just like memeing around. It's the funniest thing ever.
So
Um,
basically, he's getting ghosted in Spanish, but nobody knows.
oh my god, we're already at 40 minutes. Oh my god.
Oh my god, we gotta speed it
Jesus.
up.
All right, let's speed this up. Hyper. I have no clue who this person is, but went for 7K. So, I mean,
Yeah, I don't know who this is. Oh.
Already was decent.
5 million. The
Simeon.
Simeon. I assumed it was Simeon, but I just yeah.
Scara.
Kara. So sorry.
They got drafted at DPL. They got dropped or traded and immediately dropped.
Is
I didn't see
she
good things.
good?
I didn't hear good things, but they are active,
Is she good?
I guess. I don't know. She
She's
didn't
probably
play.
worth 5.5k in this. I would say. I don't know her personally, but
Um,
if she got drafted in DPL, then I would say probably worth.
Sometimes getting drafted in DPL does not mean you're good. So
I mean, that is true. But
Levine. I've not seen much chat presence from Levine, but I do think that Levine might be worth them 5K.
Was in the auction channel. He was like 1 or 5 4 3 2 1, like a normal person, like
Yeah.
trying to relate statistic. So he must have at least a little bit of a brain.
yeah, he's a
He's
mod,
decent.
and I definitely think this was a steal for 5k. He's
Yeah,
quite good.
he's decent. It's not a carry steal, but 5K is
Yeah.
definitely a steal. Let's move on to caps. Will and Blitz. Will's average. I'm sorry, Will. You're pretty shit. I love you, dude. He's also
Sorry, Will. Actually, you're pretty shit.
you're also well known to be a cheater. So this is gonna be pretty funny. I I actually said that most of their players would actually might be okay with cheating and ghosting. So
No, Evan wouldn't take ghosting. Evan would definitely not take ghosting.
I mean, Yushu says otherwise. Blitz is a really good player. That's all I can say. I mean, this team has Blitz.
Definitely, they have the tools for sure. And Blitz really, he has a good track record. I think in like these tournaments with like DPL that aren't actually DPL.
Yeah, Blitz has one. I mean, this team has 1, 2, 3, probably guaranteed wins. So, I mean,
I rank this among one of the best teams for sure.
yeah. All right, let's move on to large wins. Rabs. No clue who this is. 16.5.
No clue who it is, but I know they're good. I know
So,
they're good. Same with Immortal Mints. I don't know who he is, but I know these two people are good, and especially Immortal Mints, I know he's really good.
I knew he was good.
I think he should have been 20k min.
So we were while Immortal Mints was up, we were like, okay, well he's at 16.5, and I was like, I think we should up in him. Or like, I know Chip was like adamant about him used to being good, and not so like he doesn't Chip didn't really know if he was still good, and he felt like he's definitely fallen off. But even then, like if they used to be good, maybe still 20K would have been worth it, right? So it's not like a Brett drop off was like Brett was really good, and then now Brett's like pretty much shit. So,
I wouldn't say that.
well, anyways, we'll talk about him later.
We'll talk about that later.
LKR Moose. I have no clue who this is, but
He's pretty good. I played him in Poison Point for DGBA. It says the second division.
Yeah.
In like the semis, and like he was pretty decent. I don't think he went like 0-4.
Yeah.
And then he came back 6-4.
Damn.
Got all the way to finals.
That's crazy.
Damn.
Congrats for
So
him. He tried to like roast
I was
me in
like,
chat.
I put some money on this guy to my captains, and then they bid it up once, and I was like, oh my god, why did you not bid up more? Oh my god, this guy's actually good. What are you doing?
Little Bigness. Have no clue who this is. 6.5 though.
Basically, most of this team is from like UPA, and that's like
Yeah,
their captain's
Well, Troy Nice Demon, right?
like
these are all Troy's goons, obviously. Like,
yeah,
it's pretty much the entire team.
runs that league, so he knows who these people are, and he knows these people are good, or like most of them. I don't think two of them are in the league.
It's like the Blazing Infernos, right? So it's like we had D Wedge, Cody, Pete, and we knew that they were good, or at least D Wedge.
Yeah, it's like with a lot of like KMJ put a lot of people like lower than I think they should have been
Mhm.
because they don't know them.
Yeah.
You know, so it's kind of hard. If you don't know these people, he can't bid up higher. And I was like, I wasn't a manager, so I couldn't like bid up myself because I knew these people were good, but I didn't know them
Yeah.
personally. I just knew them. Like I knew that they were good.
So what about this 37.5K? Like I know this didn't really
It was
count,
their
right?
last pick. They just threw it
They
on.
just threw
Yeah.
all the rest of their money on.
I know Troy's good. I know I've heard Ice Demon's good. I played on a team with Troy. Troy's really nice. So shout out to Troy.
Yeah,
Um,
I think this team is really, really good. I think they're also under like the fact they had 37.5k left for the last pick shows how much they didn't have to pay for their friends who are also pretty good at the game.
so would you say Ice Demon's like a guaranteed win? Because like I'm assuming that they have Troy as a W.
I think they all are pretty good at the game. I don't think any of these players are pretty weak. Maybe Ishan, but and Choud maybe. But I don't know them that well.
Well,
But I know they're not like
I'm just
higher up.
interested to see if these players are actually like either average or like they're there to like get those guaranteed W's, you know, like a blitz or something like that. So let's move on to Scary Burb Squad, who I have no clue who their captains are.
I feel like I'm one of the only people here who actually knows who Scion is.
We have the GOAT, Jeremy, at 20.1.5K.
Ooh,
I think this is actually worth, although Jeremy's been dropping off. Why am I getting pinged 6 times? Ice is a guaranteed win. Fair enough. Um,
go on.
should I continue? Well, you didn't really play in TDT, and then you got shat on when you did, which was unfortunate. You kind of choked. I don't know how much was that. Was like I know you had a horrible matchup, and then second was like I guess all the pressure, which pressure can also make it harder for someone to play.
Oh, it wasn't okay. The early game was definitely pressure, I think, because like I was kind of like looking at my chat and they were like talking about the game, and then I was like, these games are fucking retarded.
Yeah,
Stop it.
that's why we turned off spectators.
In my mocks, I was like playing like my normal self. I was like,
Yeah,
because I love offense, right? And that matchup was like offense, like
yeah,
straight up offense. I was thinking too much, and then I started like actually being myself and actually like clicking
yeah,
like an offense player. And then the game went like really well, but then
and
he got like a poison on Rotom, which meant my
yeah,
Rotom didn't live a Draco for shit, and he dodged a Focus Blast, but the Focus Blast didn't matter at that point anyway.
yeah.
But it's whatever, I guess. I know Cyan and Sly, they picked me up because Hacker recommended them to me.
Yeah.
I was also the first nom in the whole draft, and that
Let's
was
go.
so surprising. Brad predicted that. He was like the day before. He was like, shoot, like a been a good average player like Jeremy, like for the first nom because they're gonna overpay on him. I was like, okay.
They didn't even overpay on you though. That's the thing. You went for
Yeah, that's
21.5. That's a good price right there. Let's move
yeah.
on to the French God.
But
Oh,
one
you want to
thing,
say something?
for me anyway, I have because I like managed in TDT. I have a lot of experience with like managing and um because I didn't play at all, right? In
Yeah.
TDT, like my whole thing was that I just was doing stuff behind the scenes, and I think that for the last tour on my team, they can really speak for that. For me anyway, they aren't here, but
I
they
think
can really. I think they can like back me up when I say that when I'm behind the scenes, I can help a lot
as a
with
player,
helping other people.
I think Gamin and Zeph can agree, or Gaming and Zeph can agree that as I managed TDT and actually won TDT, I think I also have value towards them. So I can definitely agree with that. Like that's also good to have a captain or a known captain. So
But they also picked me up because I didn't like know a lot of people. They didn't know a lot of people, and I did, so it's kind of like easier for them to
Yeah, that
like have me
that's
like help them.
that's a strategy that definitely makes sense, especially for like Cyan, who is a very solid player, but he just doesn't know very many people in this community. I don't think.
all right, let's move on to the French boy, Yorkon. 16K. I still think this is a steal, bro. I was yelling at Zeph in the game, and then I was like, upbid him. I was like, it doesn't matter if you know him. I'm like so adamant about this. Like, just upbid him. There's no
Yeah.
reason why you should go for 16K.
Yeah, Yorkan is pretty good. He also helps a lot, or he hasn't like been that active in chat yet, but he's like made a doc for us, for example.
Oh,
You
that's
know,
cool.
so
Yeah.
that's something like really something we can appreciate. appreciate, and he's really good. And he's pretty good at the game
It's
as
a
well.
French boy. Those French boys crazy.
I didn't help them with this pick, so they actually picked them for like themselves. So
I mean, interesting.
and like they got him for 16k, so I was like not mad about it at all. And he's pretty like he's French, but like he's pretty good at English. He can actually like speak English without like you can actually understand him
I think
properly.
I don't know if it was me or Ziff or Reggie that played him. And I don't know, but he beat one of us. But yeah, I was like last year. That was like March Madness. King Clyde 5.5. I'm pretty sure that's decent,
They
right?
just tried to outbid him and they failed.
That's sad.
I know Clyde. He's a pretty cool guy,
Yeah.
and he's in quarantine now, so he's got like another time, and he's actually been like pretty active in like drafting so far, and he hasn't played like in 6 months, but I think with what I said, like my help, I think he can improve a lot and like
Yeah.
get back into his feet onto his feet because he wasn't a bad player before, I think.
And looking at the rest of the team, it doesn't even seem like he's gonna start. So it's not like this is he has to start and we don't know if he's gonna win or
Yeah,
not. So
pretty much, but you could still like throw him in, for
yeah.
example.
All
You
right.
know,
So Habuda, 15.5.
Habuda,
Bro, I still don't. I still think this is like an overpay. I'm sorry. I think he was a good player.
what?
I think this is a good player for SB, but I just still don't. I don't fully rate him yet. I think 10K would have been good. 12 to 13 at most.
Yeah, this is where I actually started like wanting the people. You know, I was like,
Yeah.
I get these people. Habuda is a really good player. I think he thinks a lot about what he has to do.
Mhm.
Um, and he's pretty good at prepping. Like I've seen his prep, and his prep is actually pretty good.
I'll take your word for it then.
And he's also like he wasn't that active in SB, but he's a pretty active player or like person.
Mhm.
But he wasn't like with the culture in SB, you know, because he also joined like mid-season, and
Yeah.
SB had a lot of big personalities, and I think he can be more active in this team and actually help more.
Boosting Infernos was like my big personality with everybody's like homeboyness. um, let's move on to Toxic. I actually rate Toxic so much. 20K for Toxic is a good thing. He did get drafted to
Toxic is a
CPL too.
really okay. So I think Toxic is like the contrary of Toxic plays pretty recklessly at times, but he makes it count when he needs to.
Yeah.
Um, and at the same time, his prep isn't like amazing, but his prep works, right? He knows what he wants to do in the game, and he knows when the game's gonna or like what is gonna happen in the game, pretty much. If that makes sense. Like he would have, for example, like Fire Blast Togekiss like randomly, and I'm really like, why the fuck do you have Fire Blast Togekiss when you can have like Heal Bill or whatever? And then he clicks Fire Blast, and I'm like, okay, why did that work? And he just does it every time, and I don't know. I rate him. I've always rated him. That's why I picked him up in TDT as well.
I rate him.
And
He's a nice guy too. He's a really
yeah,
chill
he's a
guy.
nice guy, and
Love him.
he's also really active. So
Yeah.
I don't think he can go wrong, and I think 20k was decent for him as well.
I think 20K was the max for him. I think 20K is still good for him though. So I wouldn't.
Yeah,
BRD at 6K. I think he's decent. I think
I think
6K was
Beardy
good.
is like he had a lot of jitters in thingy, but he knew where he like messed up. Like after a game, he would always be like, "Yeah, I messed up there and I messed up there," without like anybody else putting it out. And he isn't like I don't think he's bad at all. For 6k, I think it's pretty decent for like his battling capabilities, but he's also like really active in like the chat and he mocks a lot and all that kind of stuff. He's like a really good team player.
Bro, he went. I just realized this is SB technically. Like it's
Yeah,
actually SB.
Yeah.
pretty much. Like our team squad is like yeah, we're just pretty much SB Redux.
Insanity 15.5. I think it's worth it.
Yeah,
There's not much to say.
we just threw like a last bit of budget when
Yeah,
Jasper nommed them.
it's not. It's a bit too much, but I think
I mean,
it's
yeah, it
fine.
was
Yeah,
just the last bit of
it's
budget.
just the remainder of budget. But yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, obviously, if it was in the middle of the draft, that would probably be an overpay.
BBB. We're almost at the end, boys. Brett
We
for
didn't decide
17K.
Sly, but it was whatever.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I thought we talked
Do
about
you
signing
know
him.
them, Lori Cheddar?
Chatter knows him.
Yeah,
Because
I
I
know
never.
Scion. Personally, I mean, Scion was on.
Chatter just died, didn't he? Or did Maya? Wow, I can't hear anybody. This is so unfortunate. So, hmm. Wow. Alright, I guess you guys can all hear me, but my Wi-Fi's like killing me. Cool. Alright, we're back, boys.
We're back.
Alright, what were you saying about Cyan?
So yeah, he was on my team in TDT season 1, and yeah, I definitely think he's very good. He did quite well in TDT season 1, and yeah, that's just pretty much all I have to say. And Sly, I don't know super well, but all I really know about him is that he's Scion's friend. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about them. I just think that probably one of the better captain cores for sure.
I think this is a dark horse team. I don't think this is guaranteed for playoffs, but I think it definitely could sneak into playoffs.
Yeah, it could sneak in for sure.
What do you think, Jeremy?
One thing I gotta say is like I messed up a lot in TDT, and as a manager, I think I could have done way more. And I'm not gonna let the chance slide. So
Yeah,
you know, I'm gonna prove it.
goat. All right, BBB. They have Brett for 17K.
Brett the goat.
Um, he's not even that active to be even like helpful, and his skills not even that compensating for his inactiveness. So, does anyone else have anything to say? Because I don't think 17K is
Well,
justified.
I know you don't. I don't know. I know you don't like Brett PK.
But
I feel like I'm one
yeah,
of the only people who likes both of you guys, even though you guys kind of hate each other. Um,
it's not
I'd
even
say
like
that
me.
personally, I'd say 17K is about where Brett should stand, maybe a little cheaper.
Well, I expected 17K for him if it makes sense. Like I expected people to rate him that highly, but personally, from when I've seen him play, when I've played him and just Jordan every time we played, and or literally anyone else like Emperor Phoenix or Zivactin or something like that, just 5-0 him. Like I'm not even impressed by his own play. Like I'm not trying to be biased here, but I guess 17K is fine. It was actually a pretty shitty thing he did. So it was the World Cup, and it was Northeast, and Halu was like trying to pick up somebody, but he was like, "Should we pick up Ziff?" And this was like in the middle of SAL, where Ziff was like basically carrying our team to win, and Brett was like, Brett was also one of the captains who we played in the finals with Henrik or whatever, and he told Halu that he was on Ziff's team, and that he didn't think like Ziff was a horrible player, and he was never there to help with prep or when not, and like try to like sabotage Ziff. So it's one of the shitty things he's done. So
Yeah.
I also
Brett's
feel,
kind
oh
of
sorry,
controversial, but
and like I don't know how this team like toxic wise will like work. Like egg, like egg's about to get shit on, bro. Like 8K egg though. Everybody was like, Zeph's gonna draft it for 20K, bro. Zeph was like, 8K? Nope, I'm not doing it.
I only really have one thing to say about like the most people in this team. Like I think Brett's okay. I think I don't know Egg actually.
Yeah.
Pineapple.
It's kind of a meme.
Bro,
I don't know Pineapple really.
bro, I feel like Pineapple's not even good, but everybody's like, Pineapple's average. I'm like, they're like, Pineapple's having like a resurgence, like he's winning and stuff. I'm like, but that doesn't mean he's good, you know?
Yeah.
I think.
Obviously,
I was having a resurgence as well, and then I went 0-3 in TDT. So like,
Like, I don't know, man. I don't think Pineapple's that great, but I think 13.5 was good enough for him, if that makes sense.
yeah. I mean, obviously, me and Pine are good friends, but even I think 13.5 might be a little much for him. Like he's all right, but I don't know.
Rob, I actually rate Rob. I don't think 15.5 is like justified,
dude,
but I
what?
do rate him.
Dude, I don't know. Um, fucking this guy. I checked him out for tryouts for TDT,
Mhm.
and he slept a Drapion in the replay, and he had a one turn on a Drapion, so like one turn of sleep, and usually you need 2 turns to sleep and then another turn to wake up, right?
Yeah, for
Then
Mhm.
my guy clicked counter with Zam on the second turn, and he woke up on the second turn, and he killed him with the counter. Dude, Casper watched that, and we were like, "Yo, why did this guy predict the turn to wake?"
dude, that's hilarious.
That's the only thing I really know of him. Like, I'm not even gonna lie.
He went. I think he went positive in TDT. He was definitely good. He played LC sometimes. Like he was a good player.
I'm not sure he went positive, but he
That's
he,
pretty
he
good.
was he was like okay in TDT. I think he played LC though, which
Yeah,
obviously there's no LC tier in this. I know him and Brett are good friends though,
I
so
know he was better than. I know he's better not in LC if that makes sense.
mm,
GCS went for 18K. I think this was horribly underpriced. I think GCS is like 25K. Such a cool dude. I wanted to pick him up for TD2, but then he dropped because he got picked up in DPO. So yeah. Um, Tort 13K. I think that's like I've never actually like really seen Tort play.
it
Me
seems
neither.
reasonable to me.
Seems reasonable.
13K.
Hundier for 12K. I actually rate Hundier too.
Same. I rate him too.
Yeah, I read him as
I think he could have went to 15K. I think 12K might be a little
Yeah.
underpriced to be honest. So yeah. Nerd and Nana. I don't never
very
really
meh Captain Core.
meh Captain Corn right. I don't really think that they're great of players, but they have some good chat presence. So, and they seem like nice
Mm.
people. And he's
Nerd and Nana. I have no idea who these people are. I just know they're active.
They're,
Because I know
they're
Nerd's
pretty
active.
meh.
I know Nana like kept trying to stop me from saying the N word in World Cup, and I was just like nigga, and he was just like stop it, and I was like I don't know man. Um, Scars of Jasper. I think it's the worst team. Just by face value, it's definitely the worst
Well,
team, bro.
yeah, I mean,
Especially when they lost Brett. Like, oh my god, why?
I put them ahead of KMJ's team
Big up
before
Brad.
Brad dropped, but then Brad dropped, and now I think they're easily the worst team.
I mean, actually, if you think about it though, Jasper, Pichu Bros, Ren, and Brat. Like, if they had the four, right? Like, technically, that could be like 3-2 guaranteed wins, right? Every week. So, I mean, that's a winning core,
Alright.
especially the best of
Let's
5.
pop up. Educate.
LeBron God,
Colin. My favorite
LeBron
player.
James.
Wait, he plays toxic? Yo, what the fuck?
Yo, mute, mute Ren right now.
This guy. Yeah, just mute him. Mute him manually.
I'll mute him.
Okay.
There we go.
Anyway, Colin, great player. He faced Toxic week 1 of TDT. He played like shit and he hacks every single turn to win.
That's so
That was so annoying.
funny.
And then Pichu Bros is I rate him. He's pretty good.
um,
Rin, 7K, worth it.
Ren at 7K is definitely worth it. I don't even know how he got it. Bro, I was telling Zeph, I was literally yelling at Gavin and Zeph. I was like, do not let him to go to 7K. And they were like, Pika, we don't know. And I was like, bro, no. I was like, there's no way he's staying at 7K. Like, they'll up hit him to like 20K. Like, I mean, and it proves Ren won the chip for Halu's team. Proven.
Dude, Rin is not a bad player. It's just about what effort he's willing to put in. Because
Yeah.
when he's actually in the game, he can just win. But he didn't. Dude, Brad had to like prep for him like every single week in TDT.
Yeah, that's the only issue with Ren. I think he's gonna dip like week 2, week 1. I think he's gonna play us week 1. And he's gonna be like, oh fuck, just dips. JoJo, I do not rate JoJo, but 5K, 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 5. I honestly, I think 5Ks for these are all fine.
uh,
Um,
I'm I'm
same.
actually a big fan of all three of the bottom three on this team, especially Skujok. I think
I
Skujok
think
is great.
they're decent. I don't think they're bad. Let me just say that. I don't think.
Yeah,
I think 5K is fine for them.
I think all of these people for 5K are fine. I think JoJo could be a little bit higher. I think Ethan could also
JoJo,
be
I
higher.
don't think JoJo's even that good.
We were looking at Insanity, but we didn't think we would get Insanity because like Brad would probably want him because they
Hmm.
have more thing than us, like more budget. So we like had
I don't think Brad cared.
I tried to replace him for him. gave insanity to us, so we're like, okay.
Um, Capcore used to be Sacred and Jasper. It got better. Now there's two Jaspers. So,
Yeah, true, true. Dude, I know of the whole drama with like Brat and this team because like Brat told me, and it was really funny.
Jasper is not a horrible player. I think he's average. So, I mean, it's better that Sacred's out. So,
It's better than
Yeah.
like one average or two average players is better than one average and one shitter.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
I mean, now it's like, how much is Jasper really gonna want to prep twice a week with prepping for the rest of his team? So, I think this team
I
is
don't,
gonna fall, just fall so much.
I don't think Jasper starts twice though. On this team.
I think he wants
Yeah,
to.
it's gonna be like Colin,
Oh,
Rin,
we forgot to go
Pichu,
Colin. Yeah,
Phoenix, Jasper.
Rin, Pichu, Colin, Jess. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I think play if they ever make playoffs, it's gonna be like Jasper twice, Rin, Pichu. I guess that's the end for the most part. Hit an hour. It's pretty long. This is longer than the TDT recap, which is whack. Um, so let's let's predict the four teams that are gonna make playoffs. So you guys can go first.
I think large wings and Snovers are gonna make it for sure, and I think Obstagoons are gonna be. I thought Scars of Jasper were gonna be like a dark horse, but then Brat left. I don't know, dude. I think like Snovers, Obstagoons, large wings, and Scary Bear Squad are gonna make it.
Yo.
I think Big Banana Boys and Linen Gang can also make like a run for it.
I think Big Banana Boys is gonna be the worst team. I don't know,
so
man. They have
so
like
I would
GCS.
put,
That's it. And Hunter.
and I personally would put Snow Point Snover Obstagoon Squad in as well. I don't know too much about large wings, so I don't really know. But then again, Big Banana Boys I think probably make it, and I'll just put Litten Gang in the last slot.
I have Snow Point Snover, Obster, Goon Squad. Actually, interchangeable to be honest. I wouldn't put it past if
Oh, I
they
didn't
got
put
over.
them in order. I just didn't like what I thought would make it.
Okay, so well, them two teams for sure. Large Weens as well, and then Scary Burb Squad if they don't play their captains. And Dark Horse is Lit Gang low key though, as long as their captains don't play.
Oh, don't worry, we're not.
So yeah, I mean, I guess that's it. Does anyone else have to say? Anyone voice call in general want to say something? Theo,
I want to hear my boy
TMJ,
Theo.
Theo,
I will
make
unmute
it back.
Rennigan.
Rinse.
Oh, he was muted
Now
himself.
he's
Nice.
muted now.
Yeah,
Oh,
here are
KMJ's
the
gonna
PRs.
post his PRs, his own PRs, I think. Or KMJ has Jasper Scarves at 8, then
Yeah.
Big Banana Boy at 7,
I agree.
then Mike Scary Burp Squad at 6, Linen Gang at 5, and then Snow Point and Snow at 4. Obstagoon Squad at 3, Large Wings at 2, and Pretty Princesses at 1.
I think that might be a little biased in the one slot.
Yeah, bias in the one
So
spot.
just a bit.
Bias in the one slot. I took the bias. I don't know if you're not like shitting out or like shitting. I don't know, man. It's probably because I don't know any of your players, but these PRs are making me want to try. Stop. Rin, you don't have to try. You're just that goat. Uh, um, I'm interested what Theo has to think, but other than that, I do think that we covered for the most part. I'll wait for a second if Theo wants to say something. I don't think so. Okay. Gammon, do you want to say anything? I think Gammon's dead. Wow, everybody's dead on us. Oh no, he's typing.
No,
Goat.
he's typing. He's typing.
Goat. Nah, alright.
Oh.
Why are those so bad? Well.
Anyways, yeah, I think we covered every update for as much as we know about them.
Yeah.
Um,
Let's do a couple shout outs. shout outs to me for making this video. Shout outs to Jeremy. Shout outs for Chatter. And shout out for all the Blazing Inferno boys winning TDT Season 3. And now we're going to win TDTWU Season 1. Basically, Snow Point Snowverse Blazing Inferno Part 2. So, I don't know how much we'll try, but...
City Redux is gonna stop you this time. Listen up, dude. It's gonna happen.
Bro, I don't know how much I'm going to, like... If I get drafted in COK, I don't know how much people will try as well.
Same, yeah. I actually have the same problem. But...
Well, I'm actually looking forward to this season. I know a few of us are looking forward to this season. So
I am as well.
I hope people don't ruin the league and make it dead. So, thank you all for watching, and see you all next time.